Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amy from Rebel Nutrition, and honestly I'm so excited about today's video. I'm going to be recapping my vacation to Bora Bora, specifically staying at the Four Seasons Bora Bora. So I'm gonna be telling you guys all about how much everything costs, which room I got. I got so many questions on Instagram all about my trip. Honestly, this is a resource that I wish I had when I was planning this trip, because staying in one of those overwater bungalows has been like a lifelong dream of mine, and I didn't know where to go, where to stay, all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna be answering all of that in today's video. And before I do, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe below so you never miss a video. So first things first, we stayed at the Four Seasons Bora Bora, and really the main reason being is that I trust the Four Seasons. I mean, you know it's gonna be like really nice no matter where you stay. And I've seen a lot of other influencers stay at the Four Seasons Bora Bora, so I was like, okay, let's go there. It looks absolutely beautiful. And we had booked it pretty late, like I think only a month or two before going, so there wasn't a lot of availability at other resorts anyways. Now, let me also start by saying this video is not sponsored by the Four Seasons in any way. Oh my God, I wish it was. I wish they would be like, come stay again and take videos for us, but I don't think I'm that big of an influencer yet. So everything that was paid for on this trip, the flights, the bungalows, the hotel, everything was paid for by me. And I am gonna be breaking down all of those numbers because I know you guys are curious over here. So right now, let me just show you a little bit of footage from the resort and from Bora Bora as a whole, because honestly, you guys, it was the most beautiful place I have ever been in my life, hands down. And I have traveled quite a bit. I've been to a lot of beachy areas, and I absolutely love Hawaii. I've lived in Hawaii, my family lives in Hawaii, and I always go to Hawaii for vacations. And I thought up until now, like that was the most beautiful place I've ever been, like beachy wise. And now, like I hate to say this, but I'm like, oh my God, I only want to go to Bora Bora now. It's so beautiful. There's not very many people there. The water is absolutely pristine. The snorkeling is incredible. I mean, so beautiful. Like I get chills even talking about it because it was so incredible. And when my husband and I were trying to decide where we wanted to go, because honestly, I didn't know that I wanted to necessarily go to Bora Bora. I really just wanted to stay in one of those overwater bungalows. And there's a couple places that have those overwater bungalows. So the Maldives, Bora Bora, obviously, and then I'm sure there's some other places in Tahiti. And then there was also a place in, I think, St. Lucia. So we were kind of looking all around, but what ended up swaying our decision to go to Bora Bora rather than Maldives is that the flight to the Maldives, I think it's multiple flights, but it ends up being like over 24 hours of flying just to get there. Whereas Bora Bora only took 8 hours from LA. And I was like, we're only gonna stay there like 5 days. So I don't wanna be spending, over a day getting there when we could just fly 8 hours to get to Bora Bora. And it was pretty easy. We flew straight from LAX to Tahiti. So that was one flight that was about 7.5 hours. And then one more flight after that from Tahiti to Bora Bora, which was only like 45 minutes. So honestly, we did that flight overnight and it ended up being super quick. We ended up having like the full 5 days at the resort rather than like having to cut into our vacation time with the flight. So I really loved that about Bora Bora. A lot of the questions I got on Instagram were asking me if I had comparisons between the Maldives and Bora Bora, and unfortunately I don't. I still want to go to the Maldives, maybe when I'm over on that side of the world at some point, but I've never been there, so I can't really compare. All I know is that Bora Bora was stunning. And as far as flights go, when we originally booked the flights, we just booked regular economy tickets from LAX to Bora Bora, and they were about $1,000 round trip per person. I thought that was a pretty good airfare, pretty good flights, but like a couple days before our trip, I started realizing that we were going to be flying overnight, and I was like, oh, that's so uncomfortable. Like, let's just see if there's room on the plane for us to upgrade to business class. And we looked and there was room, so we bid on business class flights and we actually got them. So we ended up total, rather than spending $2,000 for both my husband and I round trip, we ended up upgrading to business class on both the flight there and the flight back, which ended up bringing our total flight price to almost $9,000. So that's obviously a little bit pricey, but again, it was worth it for me because it's a business expense, number one. And number two, I didn't want to be super tired and jet lagged when we got there and like have that cut into our vacation time. So, I mean, if you can swing business class, on a long flight like that, totally worth it. Which, just side note and little tip, because I feel like not a lot of people know about this, definitely sign up for Scott's Cheap Flights if you haven't yet. They have like a free membership. I'm actually on the upgraded membership, which sends you deals for like business class and first class. They send out mistake fares throughout the week, which are basically like accidentally cheap airfare for both like economy. There's a lot of economy flights to all over the world, and then they also, if you do the upgraded plan, they send you like business class and first class flights as well. Honestly, that's where we buy pretty much all of our flights at this point, because you can get a business or first class flight for really inexpensive if you are flexible on the dates that you can travel. And we flew Air Tahiti, by the way, if anyone's curious. Now, a lot of people were curious about the actual room that we booked because it looked like a suite, and I don't think it was necessarily called a suite. I know they had a lot of different room options. The room that we ended up staying in was called the Overwater Bungalow Mountain View with a plunge pool. So it had its own like private plunge pool, which I thought was just so much fun. And that room specifically, it was huge, by the way. I was really surprised at how big it was. That room ranges from about $4,000 to $5,000 per night, but they do have some of the other overwater bungalows that are not as large, that don't have the private plunge pool, but they're still really, really amazing, that I think are more around like $2,000 a night. So you can definitely kind of like find one that's not quite as expensive if you wanted to. And with that price per night, it actually included a buffet breakfast, and they let you have a lot of food. Like, they would let you eat at the buffet and get whatever you want, and also order off the menu. And it also included dinner at any of their restaurants. So there was like 4 restaurants at the Four Seasons Bora Bora hotel so you honestly didn't have to leave the resort, which was amazing. So that price, like I said, included the breakfast and the dinner. So what we usually did was just like eat a huge breakfast, and then that would like get us through while we were, doing activities all day, and then we would just eat dinner at one of the restaurants. So if you include that, I mean, it actually was kind of a good deal. So you're not paying for food the whole time you're there, which was pretty cool. And I will just say, like, the restaurants were amazing as well. Everything there was just so high quality. The service, the people were so friendly. I mean, honestly, it was like a dream. If I could just go back and live at that resort, I probably would. Okay, now I'm gonna go through some of the questions that I got on Instagram from you guys, because I did get a lot of people were saying like it is their dream too to stay in the overwater bungalows, and I want to help you any way that I can with all your questions. So one person asked, what made you choose the Four Seasons Bora Bora over the other resorts that are there? What was your runner-up choice? So honestly, there's only a couple resorts in Bora Bora, period, because it is so small. So we looked at the Four Seasons, and we looked at like the St. Regis, I think, but if I remember correctly, almost all of the other hotels were booked up already, because we booked it so late, like so close to when we were actually traveling. So I think it was just kind of what was available, and it looked really nice, so that's what we went with. But just by the looks of everything there, I think every resort there is like super fancy and 5-star, so you probably can't go wrong. Okay, somebody else asked, is it like Hawaii at all? So I would say, just as somebody who's been to Hawaii a lot, it is very similar to Hawaii. It's how I imagine Hawaii was probably like, I don't even know, before all the crazy tourism. So it's very untouched. There's not a lot of people. The water is just absolutely pristine, which unfortunately is not really the case in Hawaii, at least a lot of the places in Hawaii anymore. So I mean, yes, Hawaii I think is a lot more accessible. I think right now you can get a flight from LAX to Hawaii for like a couple $100s, and you can also stay in a hotel for a couple $100s, whereas Bora Bora is a lot more exclusive because everything is really expensive. The flights are more expensive. There aren't really any like cheap hotels in Bora Bora. They're all like 5-star resorts. So that obviously limits a lot of the amount of people that can go there, which is too bad, but it also helps maintain like how nice the island is. Any families with kids? Actually, there were quite a few families, and there was like a kids club or something there too, but it really wasn't like, I'm not a kid-friendly person, I'll just be honest, and I wouldn't necessarily want to stay at a resort where there were like screaming children, but it wasn't like that at all. Like, all the kids that were there seemed really well behaved and were kind of like separate from the calm pool. That's another thing I want to say about the resort itself too, and I mean probably not the resort, but just Bora Bora in general, is that it had such a calm vibe. Like when you got there, just the breeze, and I mean, I'm just like drifting off thinking about it, but it just so beautiful and calm. The energy of the place was just incredible. If you're somebody who like pays attention to that kind of stuff, I do. I thought it was just amazing. Okay, next question is any COVID restrictions to go. So at the time that we went, which was April 2022, you had to get a negative COVID test before traveling and before coming home, and you also have to be vaccinated to visit there. So I'm not sure if whenever this comes out, if that will still be the case. So I definitely recommend like checking, because that would suck to like get all the way there and not have the proper requirements. But that was one of the big questions that I got. Next question was, what was your favorite thing that you did while you were there? I mean, honestly, I loved our bungalow so much. So one night we just like hung out at the bungalow, swam in the pool, ordered room service, and just like looked out at the view. And that was literally my favorite thing that we did while we were there. I mean, a close second would definitely be going to the spa. I went to the spa and it was absolutely beautiful. I'll insert some clips here because it was like, it almost looked like a big church where the spa was, which is kind of strange. But they had this like nice waiting area with snacks and tea. And then the room that I got my massage in looked out at the ocean. You could hear the waves crashing. I mean, it was just unreal. But I would also say like, I really enjoyed the snorkeling too. I'm not like a huge outdoorsy like person, but the water was so calm that there weren't any waves breaking or anything, and you could just see all of the beautiful coral and the fish. And they had this like lazy river type lagoon thing that you could literally just float down the lazy river, and it was all of this coral that was so beautiful. I think my husband got some footage from the GoPro and it was amazing. Like once we did that, I was like, we have to do this every single day that we're here. Okay, next question is there a part of the island that you recommend? So what I realized after we got to Bora Bora is that I guess a lot of people that visit go and check out like other islands or different parts of the island, but we were, like I said, we're only there for 5 days, so we just were in Bora Bora the whole time. The part of the island where all of the resorts are on Bora Bora is kind of like its own little strip of sand. So in order to get back to like the main part of the island where the airport is, you have to take a boat. So there's not really anything else on that sandbar where all of the resorts are. You would have to take a boat back to the main part of Bora Bora. And I honestly, we didn't explore that at all. We just went to the airport, but I'm sure there's a ton of beautiful places there. And then there are some other islands near Bora Bora. So I would actually say if you're going and you have the time, like maybe go check out some of the other islands too, because I imagine they're all beautiful. Another question, how many days would you recommend staying? So the reason behind us only going for 5 days is that my mindset was kind of like, okay, I'm somebody who like needs stimulation. I like to be doing stuff. I don't like to just be chilling. And I thought Overwater Bungalow, there's not much to do there. Like after 5 days, I'm gonna be bored. So that was really why we stayed for 5 days only. Now looking back, I probably could have stayed longer, to be honest, maybe 7 to 10 days. Not that there was a lot to do, but there was so much, especially because I was kind of working and enjoying at the same time. I was taking so many photos, so many videos to use as like marketing materials. So I was kind of working and enjoying, like I said, and I would have liked to have more time to actually enjoy in addition to working. It's just like, I don't know, I definitely could have spent more time there. Whereas a lot of times, like even the last time I went to Hawaii, I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready to go home after like 4 days. And that happened in Mexico too. Bora Bora, no, I could stay a long time. I would say like at least 7 days if you can swing it. A lot of people wanted to know what was the biggest thing we splurged on in Bora Bora. I mean, honestly, once we were there, I didn't really buy anything other than like food. I'm not a huge shopper, but what I do like to spend money on is comfort. So obviously we splurged on the business class flights, and then we splurged on the room too, because it's an amazing room. And then we got some questions about this too, is that people wanted to know like how my travel expenses become a business write-off. And so I will just say, like, obviously I'm not a CPA, but I have consulted with the professionals and this is what they've told me. So I'm not giving tax advice to anybody. I'm just telling you what I do in my own business. And because when I'm traveling, I am creating content, I'm taking videos, I'm taking photos. I'm also working while I'm on vacation. Usually when I'm on vacation are the times that my business is like booming and I get the most sales, because it's so engaging to watch somebody's stories when they're in a beautiful place rather than just like sitting at home, you know? So it really does boost my business. It's a marketing expense. So for that reason, anything, flights, rooms, anything, even food while I'm traveling, those are all business expenses, which is great. So that's also part of the reason why like I feel a little bit more justified in like spending a lot on the room, because it's gonna help me get better marketing materials essentially. Okay, the last question was, would I go back? I'm already like thinking into the future about when we can go back there because I love it so much. I'm almost like, let's scrap Hawaii off the travel planning list. Let's just go to Bora Bora again because I loved it so much. So definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend the Four Seasons Bora Bora too if you're looking for a place to stay. I mean, again, I think all the resorts there are really nice. And you know, if any of them want to sponsor me to come back, I would love to. But another reason to create your own online course business and just fund the trip yourself, right? So, and then it's a marketing expense. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have more Bora Bora questions that I didn't answer, you can either ask them below, you can come follow me over on Instagram. I'm still sharing like a ton of Bora Bora content on my Instagram. So I highly recommend coming over there and following me. Send me a DM if you have any questions. And I will also link to my new free masterclass about how to create your own online course business in the description box below. A lot of people assume that because I have like a decent sized Instagram following that, you know, these fancy hotels are just sponsoring me to come there. And no, actually like everything on this trip was paid for myself from my business, which is really cool to say and also empowering to know that like what I've done is possible for anybody out there. Like you want to go to Bora Bora, like create an online course and it will fund your trip to Bora Bora. So thank you guys for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.